I'm super excited to have an opportunity to talk to Sata Sauerland from Sentinel. We've talked in the past, Sata, a couple of times, and this is going to be the first time that we've got to have a kind of a conversation just about the industry, about Sentinel, about what you guys are doing, how you stack up against competitors, and how you serve agents. And I'm really excited to hear because it has been actually at least a couple months since we talked. And
Yeah.
at the rate of change in technology these days, that could be like a lifetime, it feels
Oh,
like,
yeah.
in some cases. So, thank you so much for giving me some of your time and agreeing to jump on and being a partner with Catalyit. So, for those of you, for those people who may be listening or watching in whatever form of media this is going to take and down the road, could you introduce yourself and tell a little bit about what you do and what Sentinel does?
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Casey, and to the whole Catalyt team for having me talking with you today. So excited to be able to share more about Sentinel with you and with Catalyt's partners as well. So thank you for that. Yeah, happy to jump in with a quick little intro on me and Sentinel as well. I am Sata, Sentinel's CEO and founder. Sentinel really provides instant payments for hard to insure risks as a complement to traditional insurance. So we step into that gap and provide coverage for those risks where you might typically see exclusions from traditional insurers. And we do it by simply providing a payout that's rapid and reliable should the risk parameters that define a covered risk event occur.
And so, as founder, where did you come up with the idea? Like, where did you find the pain point or light bulb moment, as some people might call it, that led to where you are now?
Yeah, great question. So, we are about to launch with you guys next month our Power Protect protection plans, which are focused on providing power outage protection for small to medium sized businesses. So, really thinking about Sentinel's origin story, I have to take us back in time. So, if we go back to 2019, there was a winter storm that took out power outage for a lot of folks in Texas. And so at that time, I was managing product strategy and innovation for Allstate. So I knew that traditional insurance typically excludes coverage for power outage events, both on the personal and commercial side of things. I was thinking to myself, given the proliferation in data and access to data, surely there's something that we can do with the data itself to make these kind of hard to insure risks more coverable. Fast forward to 2020, and we're all hit by the global pandemic. Yet again, another example of a really hard to insure risk. At that point, I'm working from home like everybody else. And I said to myself, you know what, Satal, you've got to figure out if there's a there there. So I commissioned a study with 400 participants across the US to get the answer to that question. Uh, One, is there demand for coverage for hard to insure risks? In which case, what form or shape does that demand take? And then two, is it economically viable to provide coverage by leveraging a parametric approach, meaning that you will pay out for a risk event so long as the triggers that define the risk event occur. So the data came back yes and yes. There was clear demand and need for coverage for a number of hard to insure risks across actually four categories that floated to the top. Those being interrupted utilities, where we're starting, natural disasters, infectious disease, and event cancellation. And then when we did our analysis from a quantitative perspective to understand risk, we saw that there was a path forward to be able to provide that coverage or protection using a parametric approach.
I experienced the power outage you referenced in Texas, and
Yep.
as a native Michigander, I
Yep.
was embarrassed with myself because I grew up in a cold weather state, and although we don't, in Michigan lose power for 7 days or whatever it was,
Yeah.
very often, it did. All my neighbors, Texan neighbors, looked to me as if I should, have been more prepared than I was. But at the time, I wasn't running a business that needed power. I wasn't, running any kind of location where people would have been, coming in and out of. So I could imagine that service, that type of coverage would have been really helpful at the time. So it's interesting that event, and you said you were Allstate at the time, right? So
Yes.
so what was the experience like at Allstate during that type of event? I mean, what kind of response goes into an unforeseen event that has such widespread ramifications?
Yeah, really great question. And so when events like that happen, uh, the insurance company is definitely leaning in to try and see what can they do to step in and help. But that being said, a lot of traditional insurance policies do have a lot of exclusions that somewhat tie the hands, right, of the insurance company in terms of what they can actually do. And then even in those situations where some coverage might be available, regulatory requirements for insurers, particularly around indemnification, can result in a claims process that can take months, a year, or even more. And so for many small to medium-sized businesses, they really just don't have time to wait um, to receive, they'll die, but by the time they actually get that help, right? And so it's really the name of the game, the paradigm for the traditional insurer does limit in many respects how quickly and how much they can do. I would say that we're seeing this increasingly with whether it's wildfire or hurricane flood type risks, where we'll see a big risk event, cat event occur. And unfortunately, we're seeing situations where your larger traditional incumbent insurers are saying that, hey, we're not going to be able to continue to provide coverage in this particular market, just given the nature and the scope of these risks.
So, with the responsiveness being a key element to a business owner or something like that, so how responsive, like what's the timeline like now if Sentinel is providing the coverage and there's a covered event that has occurred? What kind of turnaround and how does that even get initiated?
Great question. So, right now, a small to medium sized business, let's say a hotel or a restaurant, could come to us, perhaps through a Catalyit agency partner, and say, hey, my business is in this county. If we experience a power outage that lasts for 72 hours or more, I want to pay out of X. Sentinel says, hey, we've got you. We can monitor for that risk event in real time. Should we detect that it has occurred, we'll actually notify that small to medium sized business owner, that hotel, that restaurant, and then send them the coverage amount or protection amount that they chose upfront. No further complicated claims required. So it truly is an automated, instantaneous payout process.
That's amazing. So that monitoring that you said is occurring, does that require hardware or equipment or anything from to be in the actual physical location, or are you able to monitor them remotely without any kind of additional equipment?
Yes, it was really key to us to make sure that there wasn't going to be a heavy lift for the purchaser, for that small to medium sized business owner, in order to get this coverage. So, no, we don't require that they have a sensor within their property. Rather, we are partnering with power outage data aggregators that allow us to see when and where power outage events are occurring across the US.
Wow, that's super cool. Because I was in my head when you were talking about the monitoring, I was kind of thinking of I think it was Hippo Insurance when they first came into the Texas market. Their big thing was any new homeowners policy, they got the little, the devices you put next to the
Yes.
water heater and under your sink and stuff like that.
Yes.
Very cool. So it doesn't even require any kind of additional hardware. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in a lot of these conversations, Tata, I like to ask if there's something that differentiates you from your competitors. And I want to ask you that, but I don't even know. Do you even have competitors? I mean, obviously, like there's some degree of overlap potentially, I guess, in certain coverages, but I mean, are there other providers that you're head to head with?
Yeah, I often say that parametric as a concept is not new to world. It's been around for decades at this point, but traditionally it's focused on weather-related risks and often served the agricultural sector. And so what Sentinel is really doing is trying to widen the aperture, both in terms of classes of risk that we would bring into scope, and also the type of purchaser who would be leveraging these risk management solutions. So when we think about Power Protect more specifically, Power Protect would be the first of its kind parametric power outage solution coming to market to help first small to medium sized businesses. And then when we think a little bit further down the road, we'd love to expand that to residential purchasers as well as enterprises as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so a home losing electricity could also be a covered loss. I guess I did not think about that as a potential market. Yeah, that's super fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So if an agency is listening, or an agency owner is listening or watching this, I can't talk. I'm so sorry. That cold
Oh,
that I'm fighting is just it's messing with my words. But if they were interested, what would they need to do to get started or to learn more and explore the opportunity to maybe work together?
yeah, for sure. So, for one, I know we are getting it scheduled. Sentinel will be partnering with Catalyit to do a webinar next month, live webinar. That would be a really great opportunity for an agency to join us, learn about the Sentinel's platform and that process to get onboarded with us. So, I would definitely put a plug out for that. And then beyond that, they can definitely reach out to info@yoursentinel.com for more information, as well as visit us at www.yoursentinel.com to learn more. Lots of different avenues and routes to learn more about us, and we are excited and keen to connect on that. I would like to also jump back to your previous question a little bit because I
Sure.
think there was a little bit in that question around, what also sets us apart. And so, beyond just thinking about the classes of risk that we're focusing on, as well as the type of uh, purchaser that we would serve, another thing that really I do believe sets us apart is that Sentinel offers a truly turnkey end to end solution for our partners, where Sentinel manages and administers the protection plan on behalf of our partners. So everything from the risk plan design through the risk plan monitor or the risk event monitoring, as well as going out there and acquiring the capacity through to regulatory compliance. So really that end-to-end solution without increasing the overhead of our partner. And so for our partner, all they would need to do is pass the lead to Sentinel, either through our platform or through a secure P2P link or API integration. And then for every qualified lead, we would of course be providing that partner with a commission. One of the things that we also noticed as we were researching and building out Sentinel's protection is that 75% of small to medium sized businesses are underinsured. So if they come to us looking for power outage coverage or protection, and we see that they have a lot of other coverage gaps, whether that's they don't have a BOP or they don't have cyber or flood or what have you, that's an opportunity for us to provide a lead back to our partners as well.
That's a great point. Yeah, definitely the opportunity to be reviewing that risk plan and everything that goes into it. It's always good to have more eyes. It's always good to have also the client, the customer, hearing that from multiple sources, so they know this is a real coverage gap. This is not just somebody trying to sell you something you don't need. It's
Yes.
an important comprehensive piece to your comprehensive coverage plan. And also to your point that you made just a minute ago, that's as the former agency, COO, like it's any time that there's a way to partner with a solution like Sentinel where it doesn't require more time from the producer or from the account manager, but can still drive additional revenue and support is amazing. So that's wonderful. So the link that you mentioned. So of course there's a portal. What can you tell me more about how that link works?
Yeah, so the standard offering would be being able to place plans through our standalone portal or platform, in which case the partner would set up their affiliate account. They would let us know what producers they would like to be able to place plans underneath their umbrella. And then we take care of everything via our platform in that way. The other alternatives would be a P2P link that they could actually embed within their own platform. So let's say best broker is us, as an example, right? They could incorporate a link to Sentinel's site on their platform that would allow even their own client to click the link and go through the process to place the plan for themselves. And then that would allow us to link the plan to the agency partner and provide that commission back to the agency partner. And then the API would be similar, which would allow us to integrate directly with the agency partners platform and be able to pass information back and forth as needed related to the plan purchaser.
That's awesome. Seamless, or not just seamless, but options
Yes,
for whatever works best for the way the agency's workflows are built. So
yes.
I love it. That's fantastic. Um, well, I think we're running out of time, but
Oh,
Satat,
wow. That went really fast.
I know it was great. I learned a whole bunch. It was moving fast. Is there anything else in particular that we should talk about or we should hit on while we do have just a little bit of time left?
I think maybe one last thing that I'd love to highlight a bit is the ways in which, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit, the ways in which offering Sentinel's Power Protect protection plan really can help agencies efficiently and sustainably grow and expand their business with a new revenue stream. And really, the three things I'd love to highlight is offering our protection really can help to increase that differentiation for the agency partner, as well as boost retention and offer the ability to deliver real-time support to clients. So on the differentiation side of things, this truly is an opportunity to provide a new to world solution that's not going to be available elsewhere. And then Sentinel, through all of this, through our active risk monitoring, we also actively monitor and loss exposure. And so that does in turn help to boost retention for our agency partners. And then finally, once again, by taking on that role of automatically notifying and paying out the purchaser, we do provide that ability for the agency to give that real time support without increasing their overhead. So we really are trying to lean into not only increasing resilience for the small to medium sized businesses out there, but helping agencies to do that in a way that is efficient and not cumbersome and burdensome for them.
Well, I think that idea of being able to provide more service, more functionality, taking that on your plate and not on the agency side is something I think is going to hopefully happen more and more. So you all sound like you're on the leading edge of that because agencies are stretched thinner and thinner. Margins are being, cut and cut by a lot of the traditional kind of markets. And I think that agencies will benefit and be really happy. So hopefully you're starting a trend to be able to take more of that and provide more of a service to the agency than just be, somebody who's a partner. I shouldn't say just a partner, of course, but
Yeah,
a partner who's taking on some of that responsibility from instead of putting it on the agency side, which is kind of feels like that's the traditional kind of approach, right? Is a lot of like
yeah,
traditional carriers, they want the agencies to sell and then service and then do everything else in between
yeah,
outside of claims is about it. So
yeah.
that's awesome. I think that's fantastic, and I love the idea of reselling and supporting the coverages that the agency needs or identifying gaps and pushing it back to the agency is awesome.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Cool. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Sata. I really appreciate it. I look forward to talking to you again soon. I look forward to the webinar that we'll get to do at Catalyit here coming up very soon. Really appreciate your partnership. Appreciate your ingenuity and your entrepreneurial spirit. That's so cool. And look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Awesome. Likewise. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today and onwards and upwards. Thank you.
Yeah.